Hey, some of you might be watching this just because you watch me whenever I show up in your feed. Maybe you're a fan. But this is a small channel, let's not kid ourselves. You're here because you saw a name that you've been seeing a lot in the news, a lot on Twitter. A lot of people are talking about this guy. This guy's been targeting very popular commentary pundit channels, somewhat similar to mine. Well, not really similar to mine, but in the same vein as mine, like The Cord Ring or Tim Pool. In fact, this guy appeared on Tim Pool somehow, for some reason. This guy also appeared on Mike Cernovich's show more than once. And in fact, this guy's initial problems started when he was on another podcast for some reason. Who knows why or who he is or why he's there. In fact, you've probably never heard of this guy before his name blew up for all the wrong reasons. The ultimate new example of the Streisand effect. The dude, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you know what I mean by dude, himself, Jack Murphy. Now, this channel's been in trouble lately, and we're trying really hard not to get strikes. Even though I was thinking I'd ride this bitch into the ground, I think we're going to try to ride her a little bit further before we start over. So we're not going to talk about what Jack Murphy does in his free time or on webcam. We're not going to do what Jack Murphy does with himself or with his wife, because you've already heard all those details. You probably watched Medicare's stream this night. You've probably been paying attention on Twitter. You've probably seen thousands of people making jokes about this man. I don't need to tell you shit you already know. What I want to talk to you about is shit you might not know. I want to know if you can ask the same questions I do, and maybe some of you can get some answers. I want to know, where the fuck did Jack Murphy come from? His past is kind of curious. He's a well-educated man. He doesn't ever seem to have wanted for money, although he's blamed some of his indiscretions on money troubles that nobody can seem to figure out any evidence of him ever having any. In fact, the man's reputation in the adult film industry, we'll put it as politely as possible, it's, don't fucking strike my shit, Jack. This isn't even really about you, you self-important douchebag. But he just becomes this, let's call him a male lifestyle guru. I don't know if he qualifies as any of the other kind of acronyms that people throw around these days, and some of which are considered derogatory, and this is not to defame you, Jack. I don't think I need to do that for you. Or to you. It's not necessary. We're not here for that. I want to know how you became this all of a sudden very wealthy, very well connected, and well networked uh, internet celebrity. Why are you on Tim Pool? Why are you on Mike Cernovich's show? Why are you on this podcast and that podcast? Why did one of your customers go shoot up and kill 5 people in a multi-site shooting spree in Denver? That's neither here nor there. I want to know where the fuck you came from. Who the fuck are you? Why the fuck are you on my screen? Now, why you're on my screen is because of the Streisand effect, because I don't watch the garbage shills that you show up on. If you watch people like Mike Cernovich or Tim Pool, you're watching really shitty news aggregators. You should either, do some reading yourself, go on poll, make friends who troll the news on Discord, get your own kind of circle of information gathering, because all Tim Pool's going to do is read some Google headlines from the Associated Press or the Huffington Post, or read a Verge article or something to you and go, wow, that's crazy. I'm not going to take a stern, convicted position on this subject at all. I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm even going to joke about it because, ha ha ha, isn't it funny now that, things that people were furious at me for in 2016, it's now just a joke now 5 years later, the fact that I am a moralist pussy. But this is not about Tim Pool either. Don't strike me either, Tim Pool. You have way more money than me. Leave me alone. But why do these shitty mainstream milquetoast garbage channels soak up these random people who you've never heard of, like Jack Murphy? Another thing I wanted to mention before we leave, and I think this is very important, is a name you've probably not familiar with, even though this is a highly successful YouTuber. But you may have remembered a controversy concerning her when her channel first started in 2018. This is a person named Janelle Eliana, the black girl doing the van life vids. We're going to live out of a van with my pet snake. And I'm going to have, from my first video on, this very slick production, obviously filmed with very expensive cameras and lighting rigs. I'm a woman who looks like she probably got hired out of a modeling or acting agency, My concept is very contrived and very safe and very advertiser friendly. We're just gonna live out of vans and have adventures, and I'm just gonna be like kind of a cleaner version of the Logan Paul brothers. And I'm gonna smile and have wacky thumbnails of me making faces. And she just kind of came out of nowhere with like 100,000 subs day one, and then like the next day there was kind of more of like a natural growth. You're gonna have to confirm this on Social Blade, but it's gonna look vaguely like this: maybe 2,000 subs, and the next day it's like 400,000 subs flat in the day, like 4000,000 flat subs, bang. And the next day it's slightly more natural growth for a person with 500,000 subs, and then bang, there's another 400,000. And by the time we were done talking about her, and she kind of disappeared from our news cycle of what the fuck is this Astroturfed fake botted channel? Who the fuck is this? We stopped talking about her. She had just under 1 million subs. Now, 3 years later, the onslaught has slowed down, apparently, with the sub botting, because she's at 2.45 million, which is a lot, but not gigantic. However, her views are still insane. And she doesn't upload super frequently, so that might explain some of this, or maybe even all of this. But she doesn't have a video with less than 770,000 views. And she often gets 1.7 million views or more. This is way more views than PewDiePie pretty much ever gets on any given video, unless that video goes like super PewDiePie viral. And, he has 112 million subs and is world famous, and he can't beat this chick's view to subscriber ratio even a little bit. Can't beat her growth rate either. Even during his fucking Battle with T-Series, he wasn't getting this kind of growth day over day. It's not organic, it's fake. Who is this person? Where did she come from? Why is she so well funded, well produced, and well connected? Who the fuck are you, Juliana, black chick with the snake in the van? Here's one that might mindfuck you a little bit more. Where the fuck did Milo Yiannopoulos come from? And why did the second that he mentioned the word Pizzagate at a large live event was he somehow muzzled during the course of the event, canceled the event, and then shortly thereafter was revealed to be a child sex predator, or at least an apologist for pedophilia? Why did that all happen in that order? Why, when we were, let's be honest, Trump was supposed to be the advocate for the one voice that is not allowed to have advocates: the white, straight, middle class, often Christian, but not necessarily, but the white, straight, middle to working class male American. Trump was the first man who started speaking to us. And then out of nowhere, there was this cult of personality around him, and out of them rose some minor celebrities like Lady Maga, the most based transsexual person, I guess. And then we have this based flamboyant gay Catholic married to a black guy. What? Now, Milo at least had this kind of charisma and sleazy, kind of grimy charm to him, I guess. I never thought anything of him. But his shit wasn't all AstroTurf. He had fans. People were into this guy. But he kind of came out of nowhere. He was friends with everybody who had even a modicum, just even the slightest amount of fame or clout. And then he disappeared and was disavowed. Probably with a fucking bunch of money bags following him behind. He canceled, or just his project was complete. I'm not sure. Some people have theorized that he was another AstroTurfed person, like confirmed, factually AstroTurfed, fake congresswoman, or fake senator. I forget. She's either senator or fake congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who all she does is shield Justice Democrat, far-left progressive talking points as fed to her by a think tank. She was hired in a casting call. AOC is an actor. She's, I guess, maybe a real politician now, but she wasn't a real politician when she was running or right after she was elected. I don't know if they have a tight leash on her anymore. But she wasn't a real person. She was picked for her personality, for her voice, for her race, and for her looks, and presumably for her cup size. Let's be honest. Now, this kind of astroturfing, we're seeing it over and over and over and over again. Now, occasionally you might see something more organic. Now, I consider this man kind of a grifter, and I consider, even though I think he's a legitimate academic and a pretty good public speaker, his whole cult of personality was over him telling you shit that should be kind of obvious to you, but maybe I think that because I'm not retarded. You know, my IQ is well above 105, certainly well above room temperature, so being told to clean my room or being told to not being a huge dick before I become a judgmental prick. I should remove the mote in my eye and the beam in my own and learn from these parables. If I paid attention while watching the PSAs and the moral messaging in my Saturday morning cartoons when I'm watching X-Men and Spider-Man, I'm generally digesting what Jordan Peterson is giving to the public in his talks. Now, if you watch some of his university lectures about actual psychology, those are a bit more interesting, but he's not selling that to the retarded general masses. But where did Jordan Peterson come from? He went viral overnight by accident by communicating with a student activist at the University of, I believe, Toronto, who was holding a cell phone up to his face and calling him a transphobe and saying, why won't you use my pronouns and stuff? And he says, well, look, I'll probably respect you because I care about your feelings, but I'm never, ever going to use your pronouns or call you a certain gender because you tell me to, or because you've tried to use the law as a weapon to force me to. Fuck you. Which should be the position of everybody. I've encountered a fair few transsexual people in my life. I don't believe I've ever had a problem with them. I wouldn't wish gender dysphoria, the mental illness, on anybody that I've ever met, even, well, maybe some of my worst enemies, but this condition is not fun, it's not happy, it shouldn't be considered a fashion statement, you shouldn't be peer pressured into it, it's dangerous, and there's a reason why a large amount of these people commit suicide, because first of all, it's comorbid with a number of severe other mental illnesses that often have incredibly high instances of suicide, and also, if you cut your dick off and then regret it, you might kill yourself over that. Or destroy your body with hormone replacement therapy. There's a number of reasons why that might happen that aren't related to a trans bashing. No, that's not why. It's because it's not a desirable condition. But I'd still generally call those people by their pronouns because I'm not looking to pick fights. I don't have giant political arguments on just people I run into or friends of friends or people, acquaintances of people I know. I don't fight anybody over my religious stance. I don't fuck with my family over my political stance or religious stance. I don't generally discuss this stuff except for at a relatively superficial level with friends and family because I believe that whether you're right or left or Nazi or progressive or whatever the fuck you are, if you destroy your families over this shit, you are fucking retarded. You should never talk politics with your family. You should talk family shit with your family. Politics is about global or national scale shit concerning millions of people, and we can throw that and abuse strangers over that. Don't fuck with your family. But where was I going with this? Yes. Who the fuck are these people and where the fuck did they come from? Well, a lot of them are funded. Let me try to get back on track here for the end. We'll get out of here in 15 minutes. Vosh, funded by progressive think tanks and the government. Hassan Piker, same thing. Even H. Bomber guy, who did actually cut his teeth doing relatively shitty but in-depth video essays, not so much that the video essays themselves were poor, but that he himself is a very poor excuse for a person and his opinions are shit on various things, including politics, but also other things. And that guy's more legitimate. Hassan Piker is Astroturfed. Vosh is Astroturfed. Destiny, I actually think, is naturally built, and that's why his opinions are somewhat subject to change. I think Destiny might be a person who is possibly capable of not being completely wrong about literally everything he ever says. But I don't think anything special of him, but I don't think that Destiny has taken money. But he might have, because fans of his like Vosh certainly have, and people who have followed his model like Hassan Piker certainly have. Cenk Uygur, remember, has been running non-stop fundraisers for like 5 years to keep the Young Turks above water despite frequently receiving cash infusions. I've talked repeatedly at length where Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks used to be aggressively anti-Israel. until they accepted a I think either 2.4 or 2.5 million dollar cash investment from somebody called the Katzenberg Group, a dude related group. Wink, wink. If you've been following around with that, that made them suddenly stop talking about Israel at all, stop talking about Palestinian conflict shit at all, and start talking just way more about race. Just race, race, race. They were already doing that, but I mean, it got way worse after the Katzenberg investment. And now they're partnering with YouTube to run some sort of school for journalism or something. And keep in mind, Anna, as her other job, teaches journalism at a college somewhere, which is horrifying because she's not a journalist. She's a psychopath with a microphone. And oh, by the way, in case I didn't mention, Jack Murphy, the guy kind of clickbaited you into this video, but really didn't, because we're all talking about the same thing: fake AstroTurf celebrities who are not real. Is also a dude, by the way, a person of dude heritage. So, oftentimes that is a thread in these kind of fake, kind of scammy, grifty situations. Now, I'm not saying Jack is a criminal or anything like that. I don't think he's a good person. I don't think he's a good role model. I don't think he's a good businessman. I don't think he's a good public service, or public representative or public speaker either, because he brought this on himself. I don't believe his downfall was quite as manufactured as Milo Yiannopoulos' downfall is. But certainly all the people who have given him a platform, keep in mind, people like Mike Cernovich and Tim Pool, in my opinion, are not to be trusted. You make up your own mind, but I really think you have the most disgustingly poor taste in news if you watch these kind of people. If you're going to watch a normie mainstream pundit, you need to be watching someone like Styx, Hex, and Hammer in the morning, or at least Mark Dice. I mean, come on, up your game a slight bit. I promise 15 minutes, but we're in the outro period here. Okay, where did this guy come from? Where has he gone? Why is there some sort of weird sex-related problem in his past, and why is this a common thread through all of these fake celebrities? Just asking. It's very strange. At least as far as YouTube, one thing is for certain: people like me, even people like Mark Dice or Styx, Hex, and Hammer, are not promoted anymore. They're not considered YouTube's desired content. They are often demonetized. I've never been monetized, by the way, but before the partner program was kind of reinstated a couple of years ago, I could have monetized my videos at any time and made tiny bits of money off of you all. Chose never to do that on purpose, not for any particular moral reason, but because I wanted this to strictly be a place where I vent. And if you guys like what I just yell like a person, I talk into these videos like a person throwing a garbage bag just illegally littering out on the highway out of their window. This is a drive-by assault of information. If you like it, I'm glad. But I don't do it for you. However, what I do for you is ask you to think about these things. Who the fuck are these people? Where the fuck did they come from? Why are they so obviously fake? And keep an eye on who promotes fake people. It's why I really don't like people like Tim Pool, Ethan Klein, any of these really fake, really pathetic, uninteresting, loser, lowest common denominator, just pop mainstream aimed, paddlum, trash, garbage, trite, nonsense people like Tim Pool. I understand Tim Pool is slightly improved from his positions in 2016, but he's still a shitty podcast host, and I barely could watch his Timcast videos. Forget his second channel shit. Forget his podcast. It's garbage. If you watch that, what the fuck is wrong with you? There's way better shit to be doing with your time. Watch documentaries or some shit on YouTube if you need something to listen to while you're working. For fuck's sake, don't listen to mindless drones and shills and grifters. And believe it or not, if fucking fake celebrities like Jack Murphy keep showing up on Tim Pool's videos, I don't give a shit what you think about his political position or what you think the definition of a grifter is. If this guy is a networking contact and a point of audience growth for people like Jack Murphy, you should be looking really cross-eyed at Tim Pool too. You should be looking at these people and going, why are these fake celebrities that keep getting in deep, deep trouble or some kind of deep, deep trauma are the people that the first time I ever lay eyes on them is when they show up on a really shitty garbage podcast that for some reason has millions of subs. You should think about these things. These are important to think about. Because The information war isn't just people lying on CNN or lying on MSNBC or lying on BreadTube. And keep in mind, the BreadTubers are all funded by think tanks and even government agencies and the DNC and shit. And Hassan Piker and Vosh and all them have admitted to taking money. Okay? These people are paid to tell you things. And very often, these people have weird sexual perversions, like Vosh. I'm not going to say he's a pedophile as in that he's a child predator, but he is a person who's sexually attracted to minors of both the male and female species, and he's also a zoophile. Not saying that he sexually assaults animals, I'm saying that he has a sexual attraction to animals. He's a degenerate, and for some reason, degenerates like this keep getting pushed, and it's almost like that degeneracy is like a cutoff valve. And if the astroturfers, if the fakers, if the fraudulent kingmakers of media decide this person needs to stop or needs to go, or fucks up, in my opinion, like Jack Murphy did on that one podcast that started this all, where a super chat caused him to lose his cool, well, then they have a way to immediately smear this person and discredit them and make them disappear overnight. Happened to Milo, happened to Jack, happened to a few people, happened to Jimmy Savile even. This goes back a ways, doesn't it? And it seems to involve very similar kinds of people, very similar kinds of monetary sources that come from very specific ethno-religious interest groups. Think about these things. I have to be careful with my words, but if you paid any attention to me lately, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, think about who I mean when I say ethno-religious interest groups and lobbyist firms. You know, so a couple of them start with A and have an I in there somewhere. Think about that. Anyway, I went 6 minutes over, but I had to keep reinforcing this. This is not real. What you're seeing is lies in 3D. We've been seeing 2D lies, and they've evolved into another dimension of fake celebrities. Not just people that you accept already that are celebrities for some probably legitimate reason. Probably there's some sort of legitimate reason Rachel Maddow's still on television that I don't understand. But there's probably some kind of justifiable thing for that. Why the fuck do I know Jack Murphy's name? Why the fuck do I know Juliana Juliana Eliana? I wrote her name down here because I knew I would forget it. Janelle Eliana. Why the fuck do I know her name? Why do I know Milo Yiannopoulos' name when I don't want to? Who the fuck are these people? Where the fuck did they come from? Where the fuck have they gone? When they've been destroyed and smeared as a person with sordid, horrible past and get canceled out of nowhere. What the fuck is happening? That's enough of me repeating myself. Thanks for watching.